Hey there, let's go over directed or guided reading on the guided reading and on the outer planets. Um, let's see, our learning targets here are to be able to compare the inner and outer planets and also know characteristics of each of the planets. Make sure as you're going through this guided reading video that on your packet you make any corrections you need to. Also, if you get something right, make sure you put a star or a smiley face so I know you corrected your whole packet. All right, let's get started. Okay, so number one, gas giants and Pluto. The four outer planets do not have solid surfaces. They're gas giants. Which four planets are known as the gas giants? Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. What is the composition of the gas giants? Their atmospheres are composed mainly of hydrogen and helium. So composition, that word means what it's made of. Those gas giants are made mostly of hydrogen and helium. 4, here is the gas giants and Pluto in order. And obviously, it's not drawn to scale. We learned all about how long this solar system would be if you drew it to scale. But it looks like the sizes of the planets are kind of representative of a scale. Except the Sun is smaller than Jupiter. That's not quite right. 5, the composition of the rings that surround the gas giants. The rings are made of small particles of ice and rock. So they look like rings from far away, but really they're just a bunch of debris floating in orbit. 6, the following sentence, true or false. Jupiter is the most massive planet in the solar system. That's true. The great red spot on Jupiter is a storm that is larger than the Earth and has winds that blow hundreds of kilometers per hour. So there's a storm on Jupiter that's larger than the planet Earth. 8, each sentence that's true about Jupiter. That would be C, has dozens of moons revolving around it, and D, many of Jupiter's moons have been discovered in recent years. 4 of Jupiter's largest moons are Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. Jupiter's moon Io is covered with active volcanoes. Saturn. Saturn's rings are made of chunks of ice and rock, each traveling in its own orbit around Saturn. Saturn has only a few moons. That's false. And the largest of Saturn's moon is Titan. 14. Uranus, what is it? Uranus look blue-green. It looks blue-green because there are traces of methane in its atmosphere. 15. How much larger is Uranus than Earth? Uranus is about 4 times the diameter of Earth. 16. What discovery made astronomer William Herschel famous? He discovered the planet Uranus, the first new planet discovered since ancient times. The rotation of Uranus, unlike that of most of the other planets. Uranus rotates from top to bottom instead of from side to side. So if you were standing on Uranus, the sun would rise in the north and set in the south, I believe. That'd be kind of strange. Uranus's 5 largest moons. They have icy cratered surfaces. They also have lava flows on their surfaces. In 19, Voyager 2 was the spacecraft that sent back images of Uranus from Earth. We're back to Earth. Neptune. Neptune's atmosphere is yellow and has no clouds. That's false. In the 1800s, how did astronomers predict that the planet Neptune would be discovered before anyone had actually seen it? Uranus was not quite following the orbit astronomers predicted for it. They hypothesized that the gravity of another planet was affecting Uranus's orbit. So they used math. They used, I guess, calculus to figure out that Uranus's orbit wasn't quite what it should be. So there's something that must have been pulling it in a different direction. And they realized it had to be something really big. And they realized it had to be a planet. So they knew Neptune was out there before they could even see it. 22 explains how the Great Dark Spot was like the Great Red Spot. Both were probably storms. 23, which is the largest of Neptune's moons, that's Triton. And Pluto, is the following sentence true or false? Pluto is smaller than Earth's moon, that's true. How often does Pluto revolve around the sun? It revolves around the sun once every 248 Earth years. So 1 year on Pluto is 248 Earth years. The letter of each sentence that's true about Pluto. Charon is more than half Pluto's size. Pluto is no longer considered a planet, it's a dwarf planet, and Pluto is sometimes closer to the sun than Neptune. 27, how is a dwarf planet similar to and different from a planet? Like a planet, a dwarf planet is round and orbits the sun. Unlike a planet, however, a dwarf planet has not cleared debris from the vicinity of its orbit. So there's other stuff floating around in its orbit. All right, so that's the correct answers for the outer planets. Make sure that you've corrected all these questions, whether with a smiley face, star, check mark, or if you have to cross something out and write in a correct answer. Also, if you wrote down any notes from anything that I said during the video, you can add those to the class wiki.